All right, so this is the Q&A, I guess, section where we're really just asking ourselves questions. Nobody cares enough to ask us questions. So
yeah, so we basically came up with a couple of questions addressing men and women's like specified training, so like how men and women should train differently or how they should be training like similarly, and just a couple questions about us so that you guys can get to know the new person on our channels. You know what I'm trying to say.
it's
to get to know the guest on our channel for both channels.
Yes. So without further ado, okay, first question. Okay, we'll have like 4 questions for each other, and then the next section will be us answering questions
about topics.
Exactly.
Yeah. So first, we're gonna get to know each other.
Okay. So, do you ever get hit on at the gym being a girl? And if so, how do you deflect?
I haven't.
How do you put your shield up?
I have been hit on a few times. The cool thing about the gym that I go to is that I've been staff there for a while and people know me and they also know that I have a boyfriend. So it's kind of nice that like the majority of people know like that I'm like not single.
They know that it's not available.
Yeah, and so that's kind of nice. But I still have been hit on there a couple times. And funny story, the most awkward thing in the world, when I was at a Gold's gym, kind of locally, me and this other girl were doing like cable work right next to each other. This old man,
oh God,
old man, like probably like 70 or 80, comes up to us and he goes, "You girls don't need to be looking at yourselves in the mirror. Like, you guys are beautiful as it is." And we were just like, thank you. Like, maybe he's just a sweet old man. And then he goes, "You guys are making me wish I was 50 years younger." And
oh God.
Looking at each other like, but basically we just like with something like that we just deflect by like smiling and nodding and whatever, because like an old dude's not gonna ask us out, but like if it were someone my age, I honestly handle it very terribly and I'm very awkward and I'm just like I got asked like, "Hey, like, do you want to work out sometime, or do you have a boyfriend?" and I'm just like, I have a boyfriend. Taken. That's literally like, it comes out something like that pretty terrible. I'm not good with guys.
Any advice for girls, because I know that's probably a big problem.
Yeah, my best advice is if you're really just not interested, then be upfront about it. Like, I have a lot of friends that just like don't know how to say no, and will make excuses, and guys probably won't get the message if you're like, "Oh, sorry, I'm busy next weekend," and then they'll ask you the next weekend and the next weekend, and like, just be upfront about it. I think a guy would rather take just a straight no and be able to move on rather than like being led on with random excuses.
Or you can also deflect by being like, "Well, you know, my heart wants to say yes, but the voices in my head are kind of saying no."
Do you plan on doing any powerlifting meets soon, or have you ever done meets in the past?
I have not done any meets in the past. I do plan to compete in powerlifting at some point, maybe 2017. I really want to get my numbers up first. I know it kind of doesn't matter. Like, a lot of people will actually get really caught up in like how much they weigh going into a power meet.
Yeah, trying to make a certain weight class.
Exactly. And if you're kind of starting out, possibly even intermediate, it doesn't really matter that much. Like, you shouldn't be worried about how much you weigh going into a power meet unless you're an elite athlete and you're trying to set records.
Yeah.
And if you listen to, I mean, and I know like you might be saying, "Well, why should I listen to you? You haven't done a power meet." Well, a lot of the experienced powerlifters that have competed, like Meg Squat, she actually specifically said this in one of her videos.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. And a lot of other powerlifters will say this too. Like, if it's your first, second, third, if you're not an elite powerlifter, trying to go for records, then you shouldn't care about how much you weigh. Just go into the meet and try to hit your biggest numbers.
Yeah, and especially if like cutting weight is gonna make you lose strength.
Exactly.
That's not freaking worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Did that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said probably 20.
Okay. So for being a female and doing figure competition, right?
Bikini.
Bikini.
Yeah.
Bikini comp. Do you do a normal bulk and cut?
Yeah, so it's really important to have both of those phases. No matter what kind of bodybuilding competition you're doing, like bikini is the least muscular division, but that doesn't mean that you like don't need to bulk. Like most women don't naturally have that much amount of muscle. I mean, it's hard to build muscle, especially with like having less testosterone than guys and having less natural growth hormone and stuff like that. Like it's hard to build muscle and it takes a lot of time. So yeah, right now I'm in my like lean bulk, I guess I would say. Like last year I kind of just YOLO bulked, and I mean it was fine, like I gained a lot of muscle, but like there's no reason for a bikini competitor to just make it harder on themselves to gain a bunch of excess fat. So I'm just kind of keeping it under control this year. Still eating a lot, still training really hard, and I mean it's a bulk. Like I am definitely gaining weight and it's fun. I like food, so
It is fun.
yeah, so everything needs to be like in seasons. Everything needs to be in phases so that you can improve in a bulking season and then cut down and actually look better when you cut again. Because if you don't actually make those improvements, you're just gonna look the exact same the next time you cut down. And I don't really think that would be fun to cut down 2 years later for a show and look the freaking same.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see. Okay, how many weeks out do you start prepping for a competition?
Last show that I did, I started 16 weeks out from the first show, and I definitely came in lean enough for that show, but I had a show 3 weeks later after that, and I prepped in between those shows, and yeah, that's a long time to prep in between shows. It was exhausting, but I would say around 16 to 20 weeks out would be a good starting place for like a competition prep, just because then you don't have to put yourself in extreme situations where you're crash dieting and really harming your metabolism. I never had to dig below 1,200 calories, which is not a lot, but for women especially, I've heard of competitors having to get below 1,000, below 600, like for certain days. And yeah, so I mean, I'm grateful to have been able to not grind that hard.
Yeah.
So taking it slow, and you also preserve more muscle mass when you take it slow. So the more gradual your cut is, the better you're really gonna look on stage. But yeah, so 16 to 20 weeks out. I was in a deficit for about 19, so.
Yeah. And the gradual reverse diet's important as well when you're done with the show.
Yeah, definitely. And your body is just very insulin sensitive at that point. So throwing a bunch of shit food at it as much as you really want to right after your show, like for like one night or 2 nights, like that's what everyone does. Like there's really no harm done with that, but it's the continual like binging that really messes up your long-term insulin sensitivity if you don't take a really controlled slow reverse diet. And even with mine, like you don't have to stay in a caloric deficit. You can bump calories up like decently right off the bat, but if you're not controlling it, that's where the trouble starts.
You gain like 10 pounds of fat in 2 days.
And then develop hyperthyroidism.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not to bash anyone who's gone through that though, because it does happen to a lot of competitors.
I think it's fairly common actually.
It's common because coaching sucks and coaches just want to make money. And a lot of girls go into it, and guys go into it not knowing like what is at stake. So it's really important to know the science behind it. And I try to go into that a lot on my channel, especially with my prep series. I tried to talk about the details as much as I possibly could.
Sounds good.
So my question for you, when you are putting on size and bulking to gain strength and gain size, we kind of talked about this at Chipotle, but like how do you like to keep things under control? Like do you implement mini cuts, or do you implement like like phases where you'll pull back on macros and not necessarily call it a cut, or like how do you keep things under control? Because like you're not blown up, like you look good.
Yeah. So I like to do mini cuts throughout the year, periodically. So a lot of my first year was actually bulking because my starting weight before I really started lifting and learning the method of, bulking process and pretty much everything about lifting in itself. I weighed 154, currently 207. So, yeah. Hey, we don't pull that card around here. No, but the first year I was pretty much bulking for almost the whole time, and I did those mini cuts because they really help to keep things under control and to cut down on the excess fat that is gained during the bulking cycle. You can also do some light cardio to help as well to help minimize the fat gain. Not too much because you don't want to tap into your muscle stores, because that would be really bad.
Yeah, but a little bit of cardio is just keeping your caloric surplus like a little bit controlled.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say your maintenance is here and you're eating here. If you do a little bit of cardio, it's just going to bring you down.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Yep.
It's all about just those ratios.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about just like how men and women train differently? And, like, move to those questions?
Yeah. So men and women, I guess it depends on what you talk about, bodybuilding or like
just training in general. Like, most of the people that are watching our channels are probably more along the lines of like a normal gym goer who are just kind of looking to better their body and get stronger and like get kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And most people probably don't commit to fitness as much as we do.
Yeah.
But general misconceptions that people have about like how men should train versus how women should train should probably be cleared up.
Yeah. So I mean, the method of building muscle, I mean, whether you're trying to build size or strength, with men and women, it's the same. I mean, like, there is a lot of misconception between, male and female muscle building, but it's really the same. The method's the same. Hypertrophy, reps from, 8 to 10, 12, 15 reps.
Even, yeah.
That's muscle building rep ranges. Reps from 1 to about 6, 6 to 7. That's strength building, and like we were talking about before, the bulk, putting your body into a caloric surplus, accompanied with 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight daily. This will help your body, whether you're a male or a female. This will help your body to grow muscle size, muscle volume.
So I'm gonna go into more of a little, like a subtopic. So we're gonna talk about how men versus women should split up their training, like push-pull legs or upper lower, or like if women should train lower body more or whatever. And then like high reps versus low reps, which is what he just kind of touched on, and then like how nutrition should differ. And just to preface, like all 3 of those things, the general message that we're trying to send here is that it is basically the same for men and women. So like for the first topic, like how a man versus a woman should split up their lifts. So personally, what I do right now, just to give an example, I will train legs twice a week, and I will train like legs or glutes or whatever, shoulders on a separate day, back on a separate day, and chest and arms. So that's 5 days a week of training, and I'm putting that focus on my lower body because I'm a woman and I want to like build my legs and my curves. And that's not to say that like all women have to train legs more often. It's just where your priorities are at. Like a guy could train legs 5 times a week if he really wanted to train his, like get his legs to grow or to get stronger. It's not a gender specific thing.
Exactly. If you're, you know, if a guy, say in that situation, a guy does, like, you know, train legs 5 days a week.
He's also probably
exactly. So you, it could just be that, hey, I want big quads. I want, you know, like defined quads that, you know, later when I cut will be huge, and shredded or whatever. It's just whatever your goals really are.
Yeah, so elaborate on like your split, because you're a strength-based goal.
So yes, with my split, I do 4 days a week is my whole strength week or gym week, and I do 2 days upper body, 2 days lower. They are, well, first I'll get into which days are what. First day is a lower body, so it's kind of it's hard to explain. The first week it'll be deadlifts, working up to a heavy single, heavy double, or heavy triple, moving down in weight a tiny bit to 80%, working like three sets of 5, and then working a lot of volume for your hamstrings, quads, glutes, just basically. And because it's strength building, you're specifically hitting these muscle groups because they are the muscle groups that help you deadlift.
Yeah, so it's all focused around that one compound, and he's working up to that like heavy single or double or triple, because that is specific to strength. So it's specific to a goal. So if I wanted to be a power lifter or train like a power lifter, then I would change my split to something like that. Not because he doesn't do that because he's a man, and I don't train like I do because I'm a woman. It's because I am more of a bodybuilder and he is more of a power lifter. Exactly.
And so that's day one. And actually the next week, specific to my training, the first day instead of deadlifts will be a squat.
Yeah.
So basically what I just said with the deadlift, doing that variation of the deadlift and doing the accessories specific to help the deadlift the next week on that Monday. It's the same thing, but just for squat.
Yeah, so very specific to powerlifting.
Exactly. Then, go back to week 1. Day 2 will be bench press, some variation of bench press, and then exactly what I've just been saying. I'll move down to like 80%, do probably a 3x5, and then go to those accessories, which a lot of we just did in the previous in a workout.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you saw our workout today. Like, he was going for heavy singles, heavy doubles, and then backing off for like incline dumbbell press, like doing sets of 5, 6, something like that.
So it's exactly like that. I mean, what I told you for day 1 with deadlift, that's pretty much the philosophy for all the days. So basically it's lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body, and there's rests in between. There's rest days in between those.
Yeah.
Whichever days you really feel like. And I'm kind of flexible with mine too. If I feel like I want to hit the gym 2 days in a row, I'll do it. And if it feels good enough, I'll do it. Or if I want a rest day in between, I'll do that. As long as I got my 4 days out of the week and I train what I want to, with my specific goals and meeting the requirements of my program, then I'm fine.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's a really important point for like rest days and how many days a week you should train. Again, it's not gender specific, it's goal specific. So like he, for example, just has to get in like his compound lifts and like those accessory movements that are going to help bring up those compounds, and it's just 4 days a week. But if you're looking to build like specific size to your muscles, hypertrophy in a certain muscle group. Like for me, for example, I have to hit my legs a certain number of times per week. I have to hit a certain number of like total volume. So that might mean getting into the gym 5-6 days a week, which is how I train. So if you're going for a more aesthetic goal, then it likely will require a lot more total volume of training.
Yep.
So a lot more time in the gym.
Yep. Were you ever a cardio bunny? If so, what got you into lifting as a woman?
Yeah, so this is very common for a lot of females. I was definitely a cardio bunny. Like when I first was getting into fitness, that's what I was doing. So the first thing that got me into fitness was, hey, I want to lose body fat. I want to look leaner. I want to look like this girl on the cover of a magazine. And like dealing.
How do I get toned?
Yeah, dealing with the like body image issues and wanting to change that. So that's how I first got into fitness. And cardio is an important tool in fat loss, but I mean, so many women just take that to an extreme and they only do cardio. And that's what Cardio Bunny is.
Yeah, they think that, well, and not just that. Like it's a very large misconception that you need cardio to lose fat.
Don't necessarily.
It's, don't get me wrong, like cardio is great and it's great for your health.
Yeah, good for your heart.
Exactly. Cardiovascular health. If you really wanted to, you need zero cardio to lose body fat.
It all comes down to the caloric deficit.
Exactly.
But so when I got into fitness, the first thing that I started doing was going on runs. This was like sophomore year in high school. So I started going on runs, and I actually took a liking to distance running. But I mean, it quickly became during the winter when I had to go to the gym to run, like running to burn a certain number of calories, running to burn off what I ate last weekend, or running to like be able to eat more that night. And like that is just a very unhealthy relationship with cardio, unhealthy relationship with your body, and an unhealthy relationship with food. And a lot of women have the misconception like, oh, I played sports in high school, so I have so much muscle. I like have always been strong, so like I don't need to lift weights, I just need cardio. And that's just not true, because if you want that shape, like cover model shape of a body and like defined whatever, training for hypertrophy, like muscular hypertrophy specific to like round shoulders, nice abs, tight glutes, like that is very specific to bodybuilding style training. Mm-hmm. It's not muscle that you're gonna have from sports. Some people have that genetically. Some people might get lucky, but in most cases, a lot of women think that they don't need to build muscle when really they do. Mm-hmm. So cardio is easily abused. What was the second part of the question?
How did you get into lifting as a woman?
Yeah, so I was one of those cardio abusers.
Before we get into that, and then there's the all famous myth of, I don't want to be bulky.
Yeah.
If I start lifting weights.
Yeah, so that definitely ties into this. I definitely was scared to kind of let go of cardio because of that fear, because I figured, oh, if I start lifting and I keep doing the amount of running I'm doing, like I'm sure I'll just stay lean, keep burning fat, yada yada. But that amount of cardio that I was doing, like 60-minute runs, like 6, 7, 8 mile runs, like that is inhibiting your muscle gain. And so it's really important. So if you want to build muscle, you have to let go of that extreme amount of cardio. It doesn't mean that you have to cut it out completely, but if you want to build muscle and shape,
keep it to some kind of minimum.
And I was really scared of like getting bulky and eating more, and a lot of women have this fear, a lot of my clients have this fear of eating more and getting really bulky. The thing is the people who have had experiences with getting bulky as a woman is not due to lifting. It's due to lifting and having an increased appetite from lifting, and then eating out of control and gaining excess fat and attributing the weight gain to lifting. And not your eating habits, and not like everything else that's going into it. Lifting in itself, I mean, like, just look at the footage of me lifting. Like, I've been lifting for 3 years as hard as I freaking can. I literally
proper diet.
Proper diet. I do cardio like 1 to 2 times a week right now. I'm trying to get bulky. Trying really hard. And women just don't have that in them. Women don't have the natural testosterone to build muscle like men do, or to build muscle fast even. Like, some women will gain muscle faster than others, but even then that's just a very slow rate of gain.
Yeah.
So if you're controlling your fat gain, then muscle gain is always slow for women. But I got into lifting just by basically kind of transitioning out of cardio, bringing weights into the picture. And when I stopped playing volleyball, I was always an athlete in high school. Senior year, I stopped playing my year-round like club season and needed something to fill the time void. So I started going to the gym every day and just learning more. Like, one thing I used a lot was bodybuilding.com. I did a program off of there. They have a lot of free stuff for men and women. Did it just stop?
Internal temp. The camera overheated. Didn't know that could happen.
Yeah.
Is it hot in here? What's your thermostat at? And we're back.
Yeah, camera is no longer overheated. So I was talking about how I got into lifting, and so I used to play volleyball, and I started lifting when I was over in my senior year of high school to kind of fill the time void. And I was also already kind of into like fitness and fat loss and like bodily aesthetics at that point, so it was an easy transition. And this is where it cut off, is when I was saying I was using bodybuilding.com as a resource.
Gotcha.
I used one of their programs when I first started lifting. They have a lot of resources for men and women, a lot of articles, a lot of informative content that you can really read up on, and that is probably the most important thing. So getting into lifting as a woman, there's a ton of misconceptions that we're not even going to be able to cover all of in this video.
I don't know if you can make enough videos for that.
Yeah, so...
and all the BS that the fitness industry feeds people.
Yeah, so like the best thing you can do for yourself as a woman is just to like educate yourself. Like, look at different sources and be skeptical of every single source and be like, this might not be true. And look for more verification, look for evidence, look for scientific journals that actually prove that something is true. And that's how I've kind of like developed my own sense of truth in this industry, because there is a lot of BS getting into lifting as a woman. Let me ask you, how high reps versus low reps, should they differ for men and women, or should they differ for anything?
I mean, they differ for your goals, as far as if you want to get stronger or if you want to grow bigger muscles. And I think we touched on this before, that it's not gender specific. The method is still the same. If you want to grow bigger muscles, rep ranges from probably like 8 to 10, 12, up to 15, sometimes 20.
20 if you're doing a drop set.
Anything really past 20 is
more muscular endurance.
Is pushing it. Yeah, and then that's not optimal for muscle hypertrophy, muscle gain. Yeah, if you're in your first year, even your second year, that's not really optimal for what your goals probably are.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be trying to build muscle size or muscle strength, again, probably not optimal. But as for lower rep range, again, that's building muscle strength. And especially if you're a beginner, these both of these rep ranges, they will cross intersect a little bit. It's not like, oh, I'm not gonna get stronger at all if I use reps from, you know, anywhere from 8 to 20. You'll still, you know, you'll gain a little bit of strength from that, just because they will cross over a little bit as well, especially if you're a beginner.
Can I add on to that?
Yes.
If you're not getting stronger over time, it doesn't matter what rep ranges you're using. If you're not getting stronger over time, you're doing something wrong. Like if your goals are muscle hypertrophy, you still need to be progressively overloading your weight.
Exactly.
To get bigger and to get stronger. Like those two things like kind of go together. Like you can still build a little bit of size with low rep ranges, and you can still build a lot of strength with higher rep ranges. It's just not as specific. So when you're talking about specificity to bodybuilding versus powerlifting, that's when like he really only trains in the low rep ranges because it's specific to his sport. I do the same for my sport.
Exactly.
But if you're just a normal gym goer, you should be getting stronger in both of those rep ranges for no matter like what your goal is.
Yes. So and actually, what she just touched on was the progressive overload. Adding strength training into your bodybuilding training will help your bodybuilding training. Because, okay, let's say that you can, incline press, 50-pound dumbbells for, 3 sets of 8 to 10. If you're working on your strength and actually getting stronger, you can, soon enough, you can maybe do 75-pound dumbbells for 3 sets of 8 to 10.
And it carries over to your max compound lift. Like if you're doing incline dumbbell press for those rep ranges and getting stronger, that's carrying over to your 1 rep max on your flat press or your incline barbell. Everything carries over because like same muscles are being worked for specific movements. Yep.
Okay, we have an either or here. Do CrossFit or be burned alive. You also have the option of being hit by a train.
This is a would you rather?
Yeah. Choose wisely.
I'm gonna get so many thumbs down for this, but I'm gonna say CrossFit because I wouldn't want to die, to be honest.
I'm sorry, but the correct answer was be burned alive.
You still get to work out, and like hang cleans are kind of fun.
Okay. Next question.
What about you?
Okay,
I think
burned alive.
Your answer's obvious.
And hit by a train.
At the same time.
I'll be burning on the tracks, and the train will come hit me. So, okay. Next question.
Okay.
That's similar to that one.
Oh no! I better pick the right answer for this one.
Quit everything, and sell body wraps and weight loss tea on Instagram, or you can bear hug a cactus.
Bear hug a cactus.
And have your life back.
Bear hug a cactus.
I would hug the shit out of that cactus.
I have been contacted by a few tea companies at this point. And I am...
To try to scam people?
I try to be nice in my responses, but No.
There was I think it was on Facebook. And I was just like, I was so mad about the premise of the whole thing. And this is, I guess, when I first, learned about it, the weight loss tea.
Yeah.
And, I was so mad. And I typed up this whole thing explaining why it was ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah.
And they blocked me, immediately.
Oh, my gosh. Actually, the funniest thing was I got contacted by this one tea company. I don't remember the name of it, and I wouldn't even, say the name to call them out. But their first sentence of their email to me was, "Hi, Marissa. We're a tea company, parentheses, bear with me here."
Oh, God. Because they know it's bullshit.
They know, and, that's just a bad sign. Tea is tea. You drink it.
Exactly.
It doesn't do much for you.
The only, if it does anything to your weight, you're losing water weight because
Yeah.
it's a diuretic. So
It's like the same thing as drinking a lot of coffee or eating a ton of asparagus. Like, you're just gonna pee a lot more.
exactly. It's not doing anything to your fat. It's not making you lose fat.
It's all water.
Exactly. Same with the stupid body wrap. Oh my
You know,
God.
you can get the same effect by being hydrated and exercising
Actually,
regularly.
if you drink a lot of water, you'll get the same effect.
Yeah.
Because your body will realize that you are continuously getting water and it will flush out your excess water stores. Correct?
Yes, general recommendation
Recommendo.
is a gallon to a gallon and a half of water a day.
Yeah.
More if you're a bigger dude and exercise a lot, and probably closer to a gallon if you're a small lady.
Cool. All right.
Fun fact.
Fun. Yeah. This is kind of along the same line. Okay. What's the dumbest fitness gimmick you've ever heard of?
I'm trying to think if there's. I have one thing in my head, and I'm trying to think if there's anything dumber. No, waist trainers. Waist trainers. They literally, like. Okay, I get it. Like, you can, like, actually change the size of
Is
your
that
waist.
like the corset thing?
Yes, but it's
Okay.
because it's crushing your ribs together and your organs together.
Have you seen the quick little side thing? It kind of has to do about that. They showed like rib cages of women
Like X-rays.
from like what time?
Oh yeah.
From like way back in the day when they used corsets like all the time.
Yeah, and like in Egypt
And-
they would do like the metal rod
Yeah.
around.
Their rib cages were actually like crunched in and deformed and stuff.
Like, it's not healthy.
That's getting off topic.
Build your lats, build your glutes.
Exactly.
Illusion.
I didn't answer that.
Yeah, what's your dumbest gimmick?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I wonder, can we say either the tea or wraps, or is that already taken because we talked about them?
Tea?
The weight loss tea.
No, I mean,
Or wrap-
that's very valid.
Well, I mean, because we already talked about it.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones. I probably want to say the weight loss tea because they're marketing this as a weight loss product, which people that don't know any better will think that you're losing fat because they don't realize that weight loss doesn't necessarily mean that you're losing body fat.
Yeah.
So, and it really sucks because they're kind of taking advantage of people that don't know any better.
Yeah. Oh, another one would be a 30-day fix.
Ugh.
Because they'll put pictures of bikini competitors on their cover who have been dieting for 16, 20, 25, 30 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, look like this in 30 days. And it's just a very huge misconception in people's heads. And people
Yep.
believe it. People just believe whatever they see on the cover of something.
Oh yeah.
And it's not to blame for those people. It's
No,
the
not at
companies.
all.
It's false marketing.
Yep. Let's see. What's the dumbest diet you've ever heard of?
The tie between cutting out carbs and juice cleanses.
Juice cleanse. Yeah,
Um,
juice cleanse is a good one.
I mean, like, a lot of people will say, I'm cutting out carbs as my diet, and they will eat, like, no bread, but they don't realize that vegetables and fruit are carbs.
Yeah.
Like,
There's like I saw, I guess it was like a carrot juice or something like that, and there was like a mountain of carbs in it.
yeah, dude, fruit juice and, like, juice cleanses and stuff, that's a lot
Oh
of
my
carbs
gosh.
and a lot of sugar. So, I mean, it's healthy. Yeah, it's a lot of vitamins and minerals, but, I mean, if you're not watching your overall calorie intake, you could still not get results from that either. The only reason a juice cleanse works is because you're probably cutting your calories in half for that amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What's mine? There's a lot. With these two questions, it's very hard to choose which one.
We could make a whole separate video.
Mm-hmm. A whole video for that one subject.
Yeah.
There was a 30-day challenge a while ago that some people were doing. Basically, if it's a 30-day challenge,
don't expect anything drastic.
No, and even if you do lose weight, like, what are you expecting to do after that?
If you can't see yourself dieting the way you are now in 6 months, it's not sustainable.
Exactly.
And it's there's a very high chance that you will rebound.
Yes. Gain the weight back or more.
Likely more.
Very likely, yes.
And that's a whole nother scientific explanation that we could go into later.
So that's my answer is any diet that lasts for 30 days.
Or less.
And it's a challenge. Unless you're bored out of your mind.
Yeah.
And like you don't know what else to do. And you don't have any goal. God damn it. And it cut off again.
Camera overheated.
So
Too much for
it. It's there you go. Now it'll be really cold. Okay. So we pretty much went over the 30-day diet and how stupid it is. Last one.
Okay.
We're gonna wrap this up because I think my camera's gonna explode at any minute because it's getting too hot. How do you get your motivation? It's a good one.
I get so in my feels right now. All right. Motivation is that friend that bails on you last minute every single time. And like
it sounds like you wrote this.
It's just like I could
you've
say
said this before.
I have in an Instagram caption. So if you follow me on Instagram, then you've heard this.
Do it.
Motivation is just it's fickle and it's unreliable, and there's no success that comes from depending on it. Motivation is great like when you have it. I mean, it's great to feel motivated. It's great to feel like you want to push towards your goals, and a lot of times you will, and that'll get you to the gym and it'll get you to kill your workout, and that's cool. But more than that, you need to rely on your dedication and your persistence, because there's just going to be a lot of times where you don't feel motivated. And even as someone who is looked up to in the fitness industry, both of us, I know we can say that there are plenty of days that we don't feel motivated.
Oh yeah.
And we don't want to lift, we don't want to go to the gym, we just want to sit and eat ice cream or
Play PlayStation.
Drink wine or
Drink beer.
Yeah. There are so many days, but what sets successful people apart is the fact that they don't depend on motivation. People who depend on motivation are up and down and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that motivates me in itself, is no matter what, I'm relying on my dedication and my perseverance, and pushing past the fact that like not feeling motivated makes you feel like that you can't talk. Like pushing past the fact that you don't feel like you want to do something is enough motivation for me. Like that is overcoming something in itself, in and of itself, like
mm-hmm.
to just be dedicated no matter what. And that is how you achieve results. That's how you stick to a program. That's how you become adherent and like actually get somewhere with your fitness goals. And it's hard. It's easier said than done. But I mean, how do I get my motivation? Like it comes and goes. And I use it when I have it.
It does come and go.
And like sometimes someone like giving you a pep talk is great motivation. Someone you care about who tells you that you should go to the gym anyways, even though it's late and you got home from work and you're exhausted or something, like that can help. That can be good motivation. But at the end of the day, if you're dependent on something else for motivation, then you're not going to be successful.
Mm-hmm. And I think also all you entrepreneurs out there,
fitness entrepreneurs,
I think that's also a huge help as well. Because if you have that entrepreneur type spirit, then you have goals that you want to achieve, whether it's, business or whatever you may have going on, YouTube channel, Instagram,
yeah,
any of that stuff. If you're trying to, grow and get yourself out there, if you're that type of person, I realize not everybody is, but that also really helps because that entrepreneur type spirit, I think really is like a secondary drive to like get your ass in gear.
Yeah, and with business and entrepreneurship, this doesn't have to be fitness related. Like you have to do a lot of work in the initial stages of whatever you're trying to do for no return.
Exactly.
Like there was a long time where my Instagram following was like 1,000, 2,000, like a very long time. I freaked out when I got 100 subscribers on YouTube. Like, you're gonna do a lot for like so little return, and like that is just where the dedication and the perseverance comes in when you're looking at what you've had in return and realizing like it's not paying off yet. Same thing with fitness, like it will in the long run.
Exactly.
But if you rely on that motivation,
God.
all right, yeah. So if you rely on that motivation, then you might stop before your business blows up, and you just have to rely on that internal drive, intrinsic motivation.
It's not gonna blow up from day one.
Yeah, unless you get really lucky or have a really nice ass.
Yeah, that helps.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
How I started out, like my first year, like lifting and everything like that. I'll talk fast. Okay. I actually watched a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of fitness YouTubers, fitness Instagrammers and stuff like that. Especially like I was just talking about with the entrepreneurship. A lot of those big YouTubers are entrepreneurs. They have their own businesses and clothing, and some even have supplements and stuff. And like that motivates the hell out of me because that's how I want to be. Those are my like my goals that I want to achieve. And watching those people really helps me to sometimes kick my ass in gear and
realize it's tangible.
Exactly, like it is. If you go back, I've done this with almost every huge channel. Christian Guzman, Max Tuning,
Amanda Bucci.
Yeah, exactly. I just watched that one today. Actually, that's funny. I go back and watch their first video, and I suggest you do the same. Go back and watch their first video. They have the potato camera.
Like this.
Exactly. They have that, and they're like, hey guys, this is my first video. I'm gonna be talking about fitness here. And like that's their first video. It's awkward. Exactly. It's awkward as hell. The lighting sucks. The quality is terrible. But now look what they've gotten to, and it's because they persevered through the hard times and through the non-motivation, like through the dips when you're not motivated. They just didn't quit. Like, it's it's not really that simple, but it is. Just don't freaking quit.
Yep.
Hopefully that gives you a little motivation. And not that I'm trying to like tote fitness YouTubers because we're fitness YouTubers. Watch us. No, I'm bringing that up because that's really what helps me. That's what gets my ass in gear when I'm in a low.
Yeah.
So
in need of motivation.
Stuff will work out. Just keep going. Don't ever quit. I think that's it.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up. His camera's at 3% battery.
And it's about to blow up.
So we're gonna be quick with this. Thank you guys for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like seeing Nick on my channel, and give the video a thumbs up if you like seeing me on his.
Yes. So, our
links in the description.
Links in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you liked all this content.
Subscribe to him.
Subscribe to her.
And we will see you guys hopefully in a future video.
Bye.